within weeks, basically, the French defenses collapsed, and the Germans marched through Paris and eventually rolled westward, and we were suddenly under German occupation. The German forces rolled through the little town of Chateaubriant where we were, and I can still remember viewing the tanks, landing craft, and other military vehicles rolling through town. And we knew that there would be German soldiers that would be billeted to the houses in the little town. The French, most of the French population of the town had fled south, but we were unable to move from there because of the strict control that the French had been exerting.
And it was control of Germans, French who were born in Germany.
Yes.
Yeah. Not specifically German Jews. Not specifically.
Nothing to do with Jews.
Yeah.
This had to be, if you were of German extraction, that was sufficient.
Sufficient, yeah. Do you think before Germany invaded and occupied France that most French people predicted that it was coming? Anticipated?
No, they were hoping that the French army would be able to resist the Germans, and when this didn't happen, then they fled south, of course, from the town and from the surrounding region.
But the French army, they thought, would be able to hold off?
Yes, and that obviously did not prove to be the case.
Right, yeah.
And so we were sitting in the living room while the German forces were rolling through, and suddenly the knock at the door occurred, and my grandfather, the man of the house at that moment, went to the door, opened it, and there were two German soldiers with all their gear, motorcycle, machine guns, etc., trying to tell us in broken French that they wanted to stay in
your house.
in the house.
Mm-hmm. And how old were you at
They
that time?
were assuming, of course, that we were local French.
Yeah.
And so...
How old were you at that time?
I was 6 years old.
Do you remember being frightened, or you remember?
I was not particularly frightened because I wasn't aware of the danger. And it was my mother and her parents who were the ones who were afraid, of course.
Yeah.
And so my grandfather took a great gamble, which at first sight would seem suicidal, but may have also saved our lives, in that he answered the German soldiers in perfect German, of course,
Right.
that wir sind Juden. We are Jews. And the response of the two young German soldiers was totally surprising. They clicked their heels in unison and asked my grandfather whether he belonged to two Jewish families, Wertheim and Tietz, and that they would be interested to know whether we were part of those families.
Mm-hmm.
My grandfather answered, no, we have nothing to do with them. These two families were the owners at the time of the largest department stores in Berlin, and the Nazi authorities had a great interest in capturing them. So the German soldiers then said, No, if you are Jewish, this is a matter for the Gestapo. We have nothing to do with that. Can we come in? And so we were, of course, obliged to do so, to
Right.
accept that.
Right.
And
Well, if you guys had said you were part of one of those two families, what do you think what was
then they would have taken us
to the Gestapo.
away and
Yeah.
handed it over to the Gestapo.
Gestapo? Okay. Yeah.
And so the two soldiers installed themselves in our house, and they were perfectly nice. In fact, I was totally mesmerized by their equipment. They were constantly cleaning their machine guns and their motorcycle and other equipment.
Right.
And to our utter embarrassment, they actually gave us several boxes of candies,
Right.
large boxes that they had captured from the British at the retreat at Dunkirk.
Oh, wow. So it was after Dunkirk.
Yes,
This was after Dunkirk.
right after Dunkirk.
And they you must have been mesmerized. And were you felt friendly to them? I
Oh,
guess.
yes, I had no problems with it.
Okay.
My mother, however, took to heart this statement that the Gestapo would be interested in us,
Yeah. Right.
and proceeded to do something very smart. She volunteered to the mayor of the town of Chateaubriant, the French mayor, as a translator, because obviously he had to deal with the German occupying forces. And so she acted as a translator, and the mayor was very grateful for that,
Right.
and also informed her about the situation in France. At that moment, the armistice had been taking place,
Okay.
and the division of the country into the two zones
Right.
had been established. In the north, where we were, was the direct occupation by the German forces, and the south was under the puppet regime of Pétain,
Right.
with the capital of Vichy.
Right.
So this was called the Vichy Zone.
Yeah. And even though it was a puppet government to the to the Germans, from what I remember you saying, it was still safe for Jews in that area.
It was safe for Jews for the time being.
For the time being.
In the immediate aftermath of the
Armistice.
armistice.
Right.